And so what I'd like to do now is just open it up for any questions of me, because we've been talking about different things. One thing I do want to say is, and I said it up front, I like to treat Marines like adults. Okay, they're Marines. Some of these Marines are going to go right from here to deploying units and find themselves in a combat zone. Okay, we don't give them the respect as a Marine and as an adult, then shame on us. Okay. I understand that a lot of young people do things that are is sometimes not with the best judgment, right? I was there once myself, okay, as we all were, and so I understand our concerns about them. But what I don't like is mass punishment. I do not like mass punishment. Okay, one person screws up doesn't mean everybody's screwed up. Okay, so we deal with the people that make mistakes. We don't shoot them off the get-go. Okay, because people have got to have an opportunity to grow, and people will make mistakes. I made mistakes my whole life, and I will make many more mistakes, I'm sure. None of us are perfect, so we've got to understand people are going to make mistakes. Some are worse than others. We deal with them in different ways, okay? But we've got to give these young Marines opportunities to grow, and they will make mistakes, so we need to take that into account. We can't end Marines' careers over silly little things right off the bat when they're not even in the Marine Corps. Okay? All right. Open it up to any kind of questions, comments, thoughts, anybody. Good to see you. Sir.
Colonel, good afternoon. Master Sergeant Gaddy, STS. With the new fiscal year coming up, we're about to lose, I've got 3 civilians. We're about to lose 2 in October and 1 just after the actual new year. My concern is, I think they're worth fighting for. You know, I don't handle the bureaucracy. I don't know what goes on with contracts. I'm not concerned about that.
Right.
What I'm concerned about is the continuity
Yep.
and the quality of education that we're giving these Marines. And, you know, so I guess my concern or my question to you is, you know, what can we do to fight the good fight? You know, we've got one who is, I mean, you'll know by seeing him in the classroom that he's well vested in what he does. He's concerned not about himself. He's not concerned about the fact that his contract is coming to an end. What he's concerned about is, you know, making sure that all the instructors knows what he knows, because he is a wealth of knowledge. He's been doing this for a while. He's got credentials that he could take someplace else, but he chooses to be here.
Sure.
You know, so an attitude and a work ethic like that, I think, is worth fighting for. So my question is, what can we do to keep them if the section really feels that they're worthy of keeping?
Okay. Great question, because right before I came over here, the fiscal guys came into my office because I asked them for some background data on our budget, on how we spend money, and how we set priorities for how we spend that money. And it's important that we set priorities. Right now I don't have a priority list in front of me, but what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks is look at every dollar we plan to spend and say, do we need to spend it on this, or do we need to spend it on this? And we will have that discussion about what's higher priority. And if these guys are a high priority, then we will find a way to keep them on. Okay, it's just about priorities. All right, and I can't give you a clear answer, but that's what's going to happen. Okay, we've got a sizable budget at this school, and the way we spend it has got to have a very, coherent spend plan that is all based on priorities. If the Marine Corps came down right now and said cut 15% of your budget, where would we take it from? What would we stop doing? What would we stop buying? We need to know that. Okay, we need to be prepared for that, because that could be a real scenario in these coming years as budgets get tighter. And so that's what's going to happen. And in that process, we want companies to compile their priorities, and you bring those in, and then we will have the shakeout of what's number 1 on down to what's number 100. And then we'll figure out with the budget that we have on how we're going to pay for them. Okay. I did find out that all of our budget, the way we have it broken out right now, is O&M. So we can move it from one project to another. It doesn't take anything to move it around. It all gets down to how we prioritize things. Any other questions? Policy questions? Liberty for students. How many of you went through school here as a student? Okay. When you were here, how many of you got liberty during the week as a student? Okay. Why do you think you got liberty as a student and the students that are here now don't? What's changed?
Sir, it's the same. 2200 was the time back then, 2200 is the time now.
Okay. So you had Cinderella liberty then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you have restrictions on the weekends or anything like that?
No, sir.
No? Okay. So you all had Cinderella liberty when you were here?
No, sir.
No,
sir.
no, sir.
On the weekdays, it was 2200.
Not for.
Not for
Didn't
everybody.
have 2200?
In 95, what
It
was
was
it?
boot camp Bravo.
You had PT in the morning in 95.
Same with 99, sir.
Same with 99. Same with 92? 97? 92? Okay.
93.
So somewhere along the line it changed. I was just curious as to, does anybody know why it changed? What happened? What happened? Have we ever NJP'd somebody for breaking our liberty?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Have we NJP'd many?
Yes.
Okay. When you were in school and you had the liberty policy the way it was before, did you see anybody get NJP'd for liberty violations? Okay. Those are things that I like to look at as a process thing, that somewhere along the line, somebody thinks this is a good idea. But when we go down in implementation through the years, what does that do? Okay? What does that end up, what are the consequences of our decisions in the long term? And so that's why I've asked the question about the liberty policy. Because personally, I don't like it. I haven't changed it yet, but I'm considering changing it. Only because what made you guys so much better than the Marines that are coming in now going to combat? I think they're the same Marines, they're just a different time. And now we're NJPing people for something that is a self-created requirement. So that's why I'm considering changing it, okay? That's the only reason I'm considering changing it. But if we all thought it was, who thinks it's a great idea the way it is now? I mean, if you do, go ahead.
After we start, there's Armed Force, I believe it's actually effective for us, sir.
Okay.
Our curriculum, as far as data systems technicians work goes, is